Have you ever said something in anger and later wished you could pull the words back? The moment ends quickly, but the sentence stays. It repeats in your mind at night. It follows you in silence, and slowly, your own voice becomes your strictest judge. This is a story about that voice. In a quiet coastal town in Maine, there lived a woman named Elena Carter. She was 39 years old, worked at the local library, and lived in a small white house near the harbor. Her life was simple. She liked her routines. She liked her neighbors. Next door lived Mrs. Ruth Whitaker, a 72-year-old widow who often sat on her porch in the evenings. Ruth talked a lot about her son, who had moved to another state years ago. Sometimes she repeated the same memories. Sometimes she complained about how little he called. One windy evening, Elena sat beside her on the porch steps. She had a long day at work. She was tired. Her mind was elsewhere. Ruth began speaking again about how lonely she felt. Without thinking, Elena said, "Maybe he would visit more if you didn't make him feel guilty every time he calls." The sentence hung in the air. Ruth stopped talking. Her face changed. She slowly stood up and went inside. Elena felt irritated at first. "I was just being honest," she told herself. But that night, the words came back. Maybe he would visit more, over and over, each time sounding harsher, each time sounding colder. The next morning, Elena walked over to apologize. No answer. She tried again the next day. Still nothing. Weeks passed. Now the voice inside her head grew louder. "You hurt her. You are careless. You don't deserve her friendship." Elena began avoiding the porch. She stopped watering her plants. She stopped smiling at neighbors. She replayed the moment again and again, making it worse each time. One afternoon, while walking home from the market, she passed a small antique shop she had never entered before. An older man stood outside arranging items on a table. He looked at her and said, "You look like someone carrying heavy thoughts." She paused. He held up a small wooden box with a sliding lid. "Some people believe this box can hold regret," he said softly. "You write down what you wish you hadn't said. Place it inside. Close it, and let it stay there." Elena almost laughed, but she was tired of the noise in her mind. That night, she wrote down her sentence. She folded the paper and placed it in the box. She slid the lid shut and pushed it into the back of her closet. For the first time in weeks, she slept peacefully. The next morning, something felt strange. The guilt was quieter, but so was everything else. When she saw Ruth's empty porch chair, she felt nothing. No sadness, no warmth, just distance. Days went by. Elena realized something was missing. She was not just free from guilt. She was numb. The regret had disappeared, but so had the care. One evening, she pulled the box from the closet. She stared at it for a long time. Then she opened it. The memory rushed back. The sentence, the look on Ruth's face, the silence. Her chest tightened. But this time, she didn't run from it. She sat on her bedroom floor and whispered, "Yes, I said something unkind." She didn't argue with the voice. She didn't try to defend herself. She said, I was tired. I was distracted. But that does not make me cruel. It means I made a mistake. The voice inside her softened. It was not hatred she heard beneath it. It was fear. Fear of being a bad person. Fear of losing connection. Fear of not being good enough. The next morning, she walked to Ruth's house again. This time, the door opened. Elena didn't give excuses. She didn't explain. She simply said, "I spoke without thinking. I hurt you. I'm truly sorry." Ruth looked at her for a long moment. "I was hurt," she said quietly, "but I also miss our talks." They sat together again on the porch that evening. The wind was calmer. The silence between them felt different. The voice inside Elena still spoke sometimes, but now it sounded like a guide, not a judge. She kept the wooden box on her shelf, not as a prison for regret, but as a reminder. You cannot erase your mistakes. You can only face them. Most people think peace comes from silencing the inner critic, but real peace comes from listening without fear, from admitting when you were wrong, from understanding that one sentence does not define your entire character. We all say things we wish we could take back, but you are not your worst moment. You are the person who learns from it. You are the one who tries again, and that is enough.